right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Facts on the Ground Live. We are streaming on our YouTube channel right now. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are very happy to welcome back our good friend, Jesse Jett. We're going to hear some new music. We're going to have some conversations. So thanks for tuning in and sit back and enjoy. Jesse, welcome back. It's been a while.
It really has. I'm so happy to be here.
It's been too long.
Yeah, a few months at least, like 4 months,
yes,
maybe 5.
We were doing like, I don't know, it felt like a show a week.
I know.
For really some time.
Yeah.
And so I was going through a little bit of withdrawal. I did we were just talking about before. I did get to see you perform like actually live, not like on video chat live at the March for Medicare for All rally in Columbus, which was so much fun. That was such a fun day. It really was fun.
It was awesome.
Yes, it was. So I'm glad that you're here. And you have not one, but 2 new albums out. Yeah. So you've been busy.
And neither of them are the thing that I was talking about was going to come out next. That's coming out next, I swear. That's almost ready to release. I'm just waiting on artwork for that, and it's out. But
that's true. Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy ride for sure. Sorry, I'm trying to like figure out how to tweet this while talking, and I'm like the worst at multitasking in that way. So, but yeah. So okay, the first song you're gonna do is people probably heard it because it was awesome. We all shared it around a lot, but it's the one that samples from the Sleepover. And it's not. I mean, I don't know what else.
That's the most fitting thing to call it. Yeah,
that protest,
slumber revolt,
a sleep in,
a slumber revolt. That's a great band name, Slumber Revolt. I love that. Oh, okay. So yeah,
they're a good DC band.
And they're on Capitol Records.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's such a bad dad joke.
Their debut is called The Squad.
Oh, God. Anyway, so do you want to set this song up? Just kind of, what your impression was of the protest, and then what inspired you to write this?
Well, the protest was extremely performative. Again, to say that they had no idea that this all just really crept up on them. It just shows what a garbage job they do at their job. But
yeah.
And for anyone to believe that and think that they still need full support, that they're the best thing we have, our best allies, is just laughable. But there was something very dystopian about Franco asking what actually are you going to do? What are you going to do for the people that owe money right now and that are about to get evicted? Got evicted yesterday. And AOC's just like, we'll get to that. We'll figure that out. And Cori Bush steps in and asks everyone who wants music, we're going to turn up some music now. And everyone starts cheering. And he's still shouting over the top of it. And it was such a Soylent Green kind of moment, to hear him just getting drowned out more and more.
Oh, and then attacked.
And I heard that, and I asked him. I was like, I really, really, really want to use that. Is that okay? And he was like, yeah, go for it. So once I had the green light, I had to. And there have been a couple instances lately where I went to use a sample and I didn't have to change the timing. It went so perfectly with the piece of music. That happened with the new theme I did for Sabby Sab's podcast. I heard her go doobie doobie doo once while she was trying to wait for something to load, and I had a little bouncy beat, and I put it with it, and it was like they were just made for each other. But this, I was really, really proud to get to have that, because that was such a profound moment to hear them just be like, here's some music, let's get the crowd fired up, and you and your realistic concerns about people's actual survival needs it just gets drowned out in it. And so, I wrote this piece right after that. And I'll be actually incorporating the sample into it today as best as I can. We'll see. This is called Love Your Prison. It looks to me as though you learned to love your prison. I guess you'd say you made it your own. Who knew that freedom's such a difficult decision? I bet you finally feel like you're home. Home. Right in the center where the haves meet. You were proud of incremental half speeds. You were getting down in the AOC dance line, hands tied, nodding to the backbeat. And you'll Secret Service dive in front of any representative alive, being asked for the very bare minimum. And you'll turn into the same kind of hard right villain you detested should we mention they could ever muster maximum. Cause liberal denial's such a lofty ataraxia, where your morals take a backseat, not up in the cab, but in hidden panels made by federal human traffickers. If you trust the autopilot, then you're just a sleeping passenger, passively accepting that it isn't us the bastards serve, making peace with all the evil walking on this rancid earth, seeking unity from those who bound your hands at birth, glancing up at fascists on a bloody dais, thinking they just need a push. See, I'm not a holy man, but I'm praying for a burning bush. Yeah, I know you'd love to look away, but love, you need to look. Honey, there are many massacres the country manufactured that will never make the books. Now here's your fucking hook. It looks to me as though you learned to love your prison. I guess you'd say you made it your own. Who knew that freedom's such a difficult decision? I bet you finally feel like you're home. Home. Home on the range of excuses to justify some fracking and water down pollution and paint a fresh coat of bipartisan charm over backroom collusion. Your consent is being manufactured by illusions, marketing executives in federal seclusion, working day and night to keep you just the side of lucid, too beat down for calling out abuses. So fuck all these progressives who can speak on revolution once they empty all your powder out and spit on all your fuses. I prefer to judge a leader not by quality of tweets, but that six-figure book deal she chooses. Donors he betrays, and donors that he'd rather take a bullet before he refuses. The slogans he reuses, buzzwords he produces, and he spews like mucus. Two can play at that. So here's the inner dialogue of every time I snap, and it's fine-tuned to ruthless. It's saying politics are useless. Just a bunch of loose lips tweeting cute shit. Power suits, taxpayer booze trips. Bunker at the ready when the shoe flips. And there will be no news clips. There will just be... Turn on the music now. People still owe money. People still owe money. It looks to me as though you learned to love your prison. I guess you'd say you made it your own. Who knew that freedom's such a difficult decision? I bet you finally feel like you're home. Home.
Right on.
Okay.
That clip kills me. Every time I hear it, I'm still just like, it makes me so fucking mad.
Yes. When she says, okay, we're going to play some music. Oh,
Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. And I get it. It's a little bit because I'm biased because Franco was fam. And so he was getting shit upon just for asking basic questions of an elected representative.
Exactly.
And I was already feeling very defensive, but then for her to bring out a boom box and play music over somebody's genuine concern about the people who are being devastated right now. Like this is, again, this isn't like a game. It pisses me off. People are just like, oh yay, they had a slumber party and they got an extension on a bullshit. Come on. Oh, it's so gross that she brought out music. It really is. Ugh.
Yeah, and I still wonder why they even attempted that. It would have been better for their optics to not do anything at all.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, I think that they thought that it would help them. I mean, obviously, you don't do something without reason, but Ugh. There's so many lines in this too, like not a holy man, but I'm praying for a burning bush. Oh, so good, because
not Corey by that. I mean
bush.
W. I don't
yes,
mean
no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you're not talking about like an actual bush growing from the ground. We're talking about George W. Bush here.
Yep.
War criminal. Allegedly.
I just want to make sure I am not seeing you guys anymore. I'm just seeing myself.
Oh no, it's because I see, I'm trying to.
Did you switch over for? Okay, I was just making sure.
I'm trying to like learn how to do some stuff, but I'm also not used to doing it, so I get distracted and then I forget that I'm supposed to be doing it. You know what I mean? I do that all the time. Somebody may have to remind me that I think I have to end the broadcast at some point because I don't know. Sleepy Josh was having.
We'll just keep it going.
So yeah, I muted him, but I don't know because I could hear Glory in the background. Yeah, I can still. He's still talking Glory in the background. Okay, so yeah, other lyrics that and the one right before the one I just said, glancing up at fascists. Oh, they just need a push. Y'all, I'm so tired of hearing that. I'm
just the concept of that, like give someone the power first and then plead with them to use it properly. Right? It's just such a like
infantile train of thought. Yes.
Yep. So, and again, it just realize that once that's the best weapon you've got, you need to change your approach. That's what you've been doing is not working out for anybody at that point.
Oh, come on, man. We ended racism. We ended the war. We ended a war, Jesse. Come on.
I know Joe Biden was like, I'm getting to speak to you as the president of a country that's no longer at war. Like he didn't just bomb.
Oh my God. He really said that out loud. He really said that out loud.
Yeah.
We're a country that's no longer at oh my. And that's effective. Like they have people like Ryan Grimm pretending that that's true, or Jordan Chariton's pretending that that's true, that we actually ended a war. No, we didn't. We're still in Afghanistan. We've just transformed it into a drone war and a CIA black ops war. You know what I mean?
There's a quote, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, if you say something enough and convincingly enough, people will believe it.
That's
but
propaganda.
It was Hitler that said that. That's a bit of a clue as to that mindset. That's what they do to us,
Listen, they've been perfecting this art for years.
Keep pushing it and just stick to it. Enough people will believe it that if nothing else, it muddies the water and then no one knows what to believe, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's as if if a war is not formally declared, then it's not on their war radar.
And we haven't formally declared war since like 1940 something. 42,
yeah, I mean, Korea was a police action, right?
It's always like a
global police.
Yes, it's so, and they get away with it. They're getting away with it, and you're right. That's how propaganda works because they'll just keep repeating it, and if they repeat it enough, you repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth.
Yep. The Korean War never ended.
No,
it's still at a ceasefire.
Exactly.
So essentially, we're still at war with North Korea.
They're very good at repackaging the bullshit and selling it as something else entirely.
Yeah, now it's relentless diplomacy, which
there's another good band name.
That is
almost as horrible as relentless war. It's not quite, but
that'd be a good podcast name too.
I could almost feel the collective sigh of horror in the General Assembly when relentless U.S. diplomacy was promised. It's like, how about the U.S.
relentless, unforgiving diplomacy?
I want relentless shut the fuck
leaves
up
the world
from,
alone.
Yeah, I just want relentless shut the fuck up from the United States. That's all I want. Just shut the fuck up. Stop. No more United States. You're done. Like, you don't get to make any more decisions. You don't. Ugh. Sick of their shit, dude. I really am. The empire's got to go. I'm trying to find. There was another. Oh, come on. My computer just jumped like crazy. Oh. So fuck all these progressives who can speak on revolution once they empty all your powder out and spit on all your fuses. I prefer to judge a leader, not by quality of tweets, but the 6-figure book deal she chooses. Cori Bush signed a 6-figure book deal. And then I'm supposed to believe that she's out there on the Capitol steps fighting. She's not fighting for shit. What is she doing? Getting a 6-figure book deal. That's what she's doing. Yep. And then she's doing these performative pieces of nonsense on the Capitol steps. And you're falling for it. And you got nothing. You got worse than nothing. Yeah, we've gotten worse than nothing.
If she's watching right now, I have a book title. It's called Turn on the Music.
You know what? I could see her doing that, honestly. Like, you know, I could see her like something like that.
I was also tempted to use that sample for just like a banger of an EDM song and see if I could get it to just blow up, but it probably could. With my luck, it would, and people wouldn't get it. They'd be like, "Yeah, this song's so fucking good." You know?
Yeah. No, but there are those of us that do get it. No, there are those of us that get it though.
So that song ended up being the first on one of the two things I put out. When I looked at all the songs I had that I was ready to release, there were a few that not only were strictly acoustic that separated themselves, but in tone, I felt like they needed to be different. And that ended up being Radio Silence, which is just a 5-song acoustic EP. This song we just did, Love Your Prison, is off of the other album, which originally I didn't know what I was going to call it. And I was talking about all the different genres I attempted to do and want to keep doing. And I said, really, the only thing I don't have on the list is just like bedroom tracks, just like lovemaking songs. And someone was like, why not? You know, when's the Jesse Jett Sex Songs album coming out? I was like, what would I call it? War Crime Jams to Pork to?
I love it.
And then Sophie, who's made some really great imagery for me before, she put my face over this classic poster and titled it and everything. As soon as I saw it, I was like, shit, if it will let me, if Spotify's algorithm that looks for, you know, content on the cover will allow this through, I'm absolutely going to use it. And it did. And so I used it. So War Crime Jams to Pork to is out now on streaming services. And
it's such a great album name.
And that's the thing. At first, like, my wife was like, "You're calling it what?" And I told her, I was like, "It's because obviously you can't. You know, that's one thing I'll never be able to really do is make some like super crossover popular thing, because it's the subject matter stops you from doing that. So it's something that's a self-contradicting genre." And I thought it'd be fun to just do something that was kind of self-trolling too, you know, that just like, I didn't want to take it too seriously. And so I didn't. This song usually has some like multi-layered guitar stuff that I was really proud of, but is not something I could do live and try to do anything with my mouth. So I'm doing a little bit different of an arrangement for it. So bear with me, because this is maiden voyage for this bad boy. I couldn't resist talking about, you know, when we look at Obama's legacy now, it's all personality and not policy, at least the people that love him. And the constant like yearly what I'm listening to thing is like so much less relevant than it even was before when it wasn't relevant, but people still latch onto it because that's exactly the kind of thing that we scarf now. So this is called Life in the Red. Liberals said, "Thank you, Obama, for life in the red. Thank you for dap and a pat on the head. Thank you for saving the banks as millions are drowned in their debt. Thank you for all of the fluff and the nothing you said. Thank you for proving we eat up identity politics. All of your policy better forgotten. Just tell us what books you've read. Tell us what record was top of your playlist turning a wedding to Day of the Dead. What Quavo song went along on a heavy rotation when bombing Iraqis in bed? And when they told you that 90% of your kills were civilian, what Jill Scott chorus was stuck in your head? What put you at rest after such a long day of convincing a nation it wasn't so deeply misled? That you weren't just Reagan with new age media training, who fed on our hopes like his daily bread, who preyed on the weak, and who was never unwilling to serve you a speech to remind you the middle class needed to bleed. And you helped us succeed if you learned to accept it. And better yet, learn how to laugh as they bled. A round of applause. Laughter erupts. Mike gets dropped, it's the end of his set. And the crowd, once hungry, are now unstunned from the glow of celebrity. which is impressive, especially since they're contented to sit and be civil while all of the donors are fed. So they'll thin out the herd by 1 million a week if it gives the elite an illusion of peace. Like they're out of the path of the future we reap, like they won't be debris in the wake of its tread. But the future is now. Bathe in the sound, drown in the dread, hide in the lounge. Hire more guards at your gatehouse. Hire someone to come build you a safe house under your shed, so you can hide with your diamonds and files. The files you keep to yourself and the files you keep for the feds. Hide in the dark for a while and watch all their value regress. Watch all the worth of your wealth on this earth melt down in a pool with the rest of the cess. All the affluence left over after the worldly collapse of the affluent. After it's back to the dirt with the rights of your birth. Privileged smirks on your unpaid taxes. Hashtag blessed. This has all been a nightmare. Capitalism was only a test. So you need not weep and you need not repeat what the liberals said. We will not be saved by people who say that the water is safe while they look in your face and they pantomime sips of lead. Honey, nobody's lifting us out of this mess. Nobody's lifting us out of this mess. That's life in the red.
Very nice.
I'm so glad you wrote that, because Obama, like that whole, it just pisses me off. And the fact that there are still people that treat him as if he was anything other than the corrupt corporate owned war criminal that he is.
Yep.
It just pisses me off. He makes me angry. Like just the sight of him makes me angry.
I know.
You know, like he really does.
Oh, believe me.
I mean, all presidents are like that. And maybe it's because I feel like I voted for him in 2008. And so I feel like I hate myself for it. So it's probably just me lashing out at him irrationally for my own not being able to see through his bullshit. But it was bullshit.
Well, he's the arch neoliberal. He's what the perfect neoliberal embodies. It's
like
in
creepy
him.
Villain style. Like he's good. He's very good. And I love when they told you that 90% of your kills were civilians, what Jill Scott chorus was stuck in your head. Because that motherfucker puts out his book list and his summer playlist 2000, whatever. And I do not give a shit, dude. You should be in The Hague. Like, ew.
And that's when I look at that, I'm like, I wonder if any of those, like, legitimately, what were you listening to when you were doing some of this? If you really were listening to that, you know, what song?
Every Tuesday when you sat down with your baseball cards to decide who was going to die today, what were you listening to? What song was stuck in your head that day, Barack? What song? Tell us. Oh,
yeah, and it's worth noting, since last week, the so-called progressives in Congress were pretending to stand against apartheid Israel by opposing Iron Dome funding. It's worth noting that in 2012, when Obama visited Israel, as soon as he got off the plane, he was greeted not just by Netanyahu, but also by an Iron Dome battery, because at that point it wasn't a new technology in Israel, but it was something that was really coming to the fore and being touted as this defensive weapon. And he was more than happy to be greeted by that and praise that. And these same people last week who are again pretending to stand up against apartheid Israel, I wonder if they even have that historical knowledge, if they even know that the man who is the template for who they are, that's how he acted. And it really just gives the lie to everything that they claim to stand for, that they've claimed to stand for. And we all know this already, but they reveal it more and more almost every day, it seems.
Yes, but that's what makes it extra frustrating, is that they reveal it more and more every day, and there's still people making
it's flagrant. It's just like waving
it
in
is
faces at this point. Yeah,
it's like they're
really drive home how little resource we have.
They're laughing in your faces, like it's serious. It's offensive to me, like the way that they like the bullshit tweets and and then they do nothing for you, and then they act offended if you dare call them out, like Franco did. Like everybody attacked him. And it's crazy what's happening. It's that tribalistic shit, dude. I mean, people latch on to their team or whatever, and then anything that team does is fine. It doesn't matter. They will defend it to the death.
Exactly.
And anything the other team does is the worst thing that ever happened.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if those two things are the same, because
The same. Exactly.
But
Yep.
if the other team does it, it's the worst thing ever. If my team does it, it's fine, and we have to defend it.
Yep.
It's sick. So
Yep.
sick. Ugh. Okay. So, is there any other lyrics I wanted to? That was the big one. The Jill Scott like that.
Yeah.
Like the first time I heard that, I was like, it was one of those things where I was like, ooh, you know, like whoa. But yeah, just fuck Obama, dude.
I remember when Kendrick Lamar released "To Pimp a Butterfly," and Obama came out and said he was a big fan of that. So maybe he was listening to King Kunta.
I know, that's again one of those things that, like,
that's the only song I can remember from that record. That's why I cite that one. I
hated to see well, I know the song that Barack talked about off of that was oh god, it's the one where Kendrick has the conversation with the homeless man about like the value of $1. And I thought it was very laughable that, of course, that's the one that Barack would talk about. You know, someone who had every occasion to do something for the homeless, and instead just kind of help criminalize homelessness further.
Well, and now he's gentrifying a neighborhood.
Don't notice that. And it's funny that you mentioned Kendrick, because I actually mentioned him in the beginning of this song. This was, and I didn't want to talk about it too much, but at the same point, the people that I expected to hear talk about the situation in this country once it got to where it got, all of a sudden were silent. There were so many people that would talk about it when it was background noise for the average American, but once it was right in our faces and ugly, then they went silent, you know?
Funny how that works. Exactly.
And I hadn't played this before, and it's not something I had ever really considered doing acoustic, but Sharif Snuggs, who organized
I love
the
Sharif.
Medicare for All marches. I know, he's the best.
Yes.
He and I spoke one day, and he mentioned that this song was his favorite song of mine. He said, I listen to that like regularly. And he said, if I'd gotten to be at the same march as you, I was going to ask for you to play it. And so I figured, this is my first time playing since the march. It'd be a good way to thank Sharif for everything he's done and continued to do. He's been incredible. And performing at that march was already exhilarating. But when I did my spoken word pieces through a megaphone, that was the first moment where I felt the intersection of getting to perform for an audience and getting to talk about what matters to me. And it was like this is what I'm supposed to be doing kind of eureka moment. And I've chased that to some extent by actually performing some of these songs at a couple local open mics recently. And I was really overwhelmed by the positive response. Maybe I underestimated the accessibility of some of this, or I'd like to think it's more that people are more fed up than I give them credit for, because a lot of people would come up and just like start, a lot of them would all of a sudden, it's funny, you get the people that are right there agreeing with you on all these different things, but like, yeah, we should absolutely have free healthcare. There's no reason we shouldn't. And, housing and blah, 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 but at least we're not communists. At least we're not a communist country. You realize you still have a long way to go with people. But if they at its core approve of the values and the policies that would come from it, but they just don't know that they're calling it the wrong thing, that maybe we're closer to convincing them than we realize.
I think we are. It's simmering.
But this piece, this was written when I was kind of looking at winter coming and what the holidays were going to be last year for people. And the first thing I wrote after Biden won the election. So this is for Sharif. This is called Ugly Fucking Christmas. One man's silent auction is another's trial, in a system designed to see you suicidal. And funny, we don't hear a peep out of Kendrick Bay or Jay-Z. We just see a lot of silent idols with their heads up their asses like the fascists made them hide somewhere parallel to pylon idol. Like they've let us off the lead, but we know that in our hearts we will always taste the bridle. Now I am not JPEG Mafia or honorary PNG Yakuza. Label owns your masters and your masters want their profits up. So they said you can't diss Biden, you have to stay silent. So shut your fucking mouth and watch me cough it up. I'll kill it, then I'll bury it, I'll piss right on the grave. Shit, I'll maybe dig the coffin up. They want you and me softened up. That's why they try crying unity. Preach it to my face and watch me catch a case faster than we should have ended qualified immunity. You can hide from the truth, but I'll pull you out and school you, honey. You can call it truancy, ash as far as you can see. Out across the ruins, let it sink in, let it ruin all your dopamine. I take my haze a wider shade of aubergine. My words are just the go-between for all this fucking acid and an out-of-date famotidine. I say my piece, drop the mic, bleed out all my chromosomes and blow the scene. And I will not be coming back, so love me or leave me or mislead me to Iraq. I'm violence over science if your faith over facts. We're all up for auction, honey, we cannot relax. We coronated Biden and I didn't cut a track. I just stared into the ether, hearing everyone react. Hearing that collective sigh of liberal satisfaction, cause they all went fucking batshit for a bigot geriatric who magically regains his faculties to slap your daughter's ass, and even though she's 8, you let it happen. Just like all these fucking garbage politicians serve their kids up on a platter during photo ops designed to let them leech a little power and significance directly from the head slave master, the author of imprisonment, who partnered with the sentencer of innocence, telling you they're here to heal the soul of old America. And clearly that's just code for we are here to watch you starve and serve our bigot benefactors. Now cue the can, Kamala laughter, comma, distractor, comma, less schools, more jails, more fracking, more wars, comma, blood dollars, comma, Kamala laughing. Fuck it, honey, more reactors. Biden said build back better, but that man learned better from the likes of those who stood for Jim Crow by the letter. And you will not convince me that a man who spent a lifetime swallowing the sermons of a guy like Strom Thurmond ends up anything but Kissinger with Mr. Rogers' sweater. So, I'm out the party, and I won't be coming back. Let them love us or leave us or mislead us to Iraq. Let Kamala deceive us with some sneakers and a laugh. They will not address the other half. If they acknowledge our predicament, they have to say why they dismissed us. And nobody in Congress has the guts to look the nation in the face and explain how they let us waste away to afford all the comforts they need to maintain all their opulence and stingy, inhumane existence. So it's gonna be an ugly fucking Christmas. And we will not be coming back, so love us or leave us or mislead us to Iraq. I'm violence over science if your faith over facts. We're all up for auction, Biden, we will not relax. We will not be coming back, let them love us or leave us or mislead us to Iraq. I'm violence over science if your faith over facts. We're all up for auction, honey, we cannot relax.
Oh, that's a heavy one.
Oh. Love you, Sharif. Thank you.
Yes, I do love you.
That
Sharif.
really captures, at least for me, how I felt last Christmas time, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with what was going on politically, what was going on with the pandemic, and the whole theater of Biden's election and upcoming inauguration.
So many people were like, oh, I'm so glad. Oh, thank goodness. You know, just like to kind of breathe that sigh of relief. I was like, a part of me would love to know what that's like to get to vote and be like, whew, we took care of that. Everything's good now, you know, like, oh. And
or
that's
just
what
even
I knew,
like think
I
you
knew
might
would
have a
happen.
chance.
was that he was going to win, and people were just going to be like, okay, good, everything's back to normal, and we were going to lose that momentum that we had from the anger, because we needed that, and so much of it is gone now. It's intentional. Infuriating.
It's been neutralized. Really infuriating. This is how they neutralize movements, y'all. This is how they always do it. They give you like a little taste of something, and then they shit all over you, and it demoralizes your movement, and it demoralizes the effort, and people, they divide you. They find like a couple hot button issues that they can piss you off about, and then you'll divide it yourselves, and they've been doing it forever, and we just keep letting it happen. It's really fucking annoying. But I love we coordinated Biden, and I didn't cut a track. I just stared into the ether, hearing everyone react, hearing the collective sigh of liberal satisfaction, because you all went fucking batshit for a bigot geriatric who magically regains his faculties to slap your daughter's ass, and even though she's 8, you let it happen. That I know I've said this before, but I still cannot believe a man who is on camera numerous times being physically inappropriate with children was elected president. I mean, I'm not
on video that Facebook flags for being inappropriate for a goddamn reason, you know?
Yeah, people lost. Didn't people lose their like accounts because they posted it, or like they were just taking it down for sure? I know that, but I mean, y'all. It's so gross to me that's, I mean, and I'm not saying that Trump was any better. Dude was absolutely a predator and still is a predator. And, but Joe Biden is on camera being physically inappropriate with young girls, like young girls, little girls. It's so just beyond bizarre to me that that's something that happens in this country. It's not really because, you know, we're a hot fucking mess.
Yeah, when you look at what's happened with the gymnasts, for example, that
okay, I have a documentary recommendation. We were talking about documentaries earlier before we started. There's a documentary, I think it's on Netflix, maybe, called Athlete A, and it's about the gymnast scandal. And maybe not. Maybe don't watch it, because honestly, it fucked me up. Just knowing all of the things that went on for so long. It's hard to hear that shit and understand that that's happening, and that's still happening, like somewhere, you know.
Absolutely.
It's so gross. Yeah, but that's a really great documentary if you're into like depressing the shit out of yourself. Like I seem to be. Yeah, it's called Athlete A. And so it's basically, it's because there's one, I don't remember her name because I'm terrible at names. But it's kind of the first gymnast. She was never, I don't think she was ever Olympic level, but she was like one of the elite gymnasts, and she was like the one that got the ball rolling. So it kind of starts with her, and then it just goes through and shows some of the different victims and their journeys into, but she's like, I'm always impressed by like the first person who had the courage to stand up and speak truth. You know what I mean? That's always, to be the first is always hard. So
and gymnastics itself without the sexual abuse is abusive enough. And I'm not just talking about the toll it takes on gymnasts' bodies, but the coaching that goes along with it. My sister did gymnastics for many, many years and was quite good, but she quit wholesale because the coaching atmosphere made her miserable and fearful. And
it's very kind of militaristic, and cultish kind of. Like it's a religion, and these are like little kids. And I get, especially if you want to be an elite athlete, I get that you have to have some level of commitment, and but it's insane. Like practicing 8 hours a day, you know, being homeschooled because you don't have time for school. Like let kids be kids. Like I don't know why we're so gung-ho on, I'm somebody who loves sports. I'm a former athlete. I love sports. I love watching athletes, but I think sometimes we take it way too, like I coached biddy cheerleading several years ago, and for basketball, and it was like we're in the NBA finals. Like some of these parents were freaking out, and I'm like, and this was like 5, 6, 7-year-olds, and I'm like, dude, your kid's not Kobe Bryant. This isn't the NBA finals. Like we need to calm down a second. Like what is happening? But it's
that's funny you said that, because there was a picture I saw from a baseball park in Tallahassee, Florida, which is very close to where I grew up. That's literally the city had to put the sign up And let me see if I can find it.
You want to say to these parents, why don't you get out there and do it, Raj? You're just sitting on the sideline.
Raj.
Here we go.
Screaming at your kid.
The sign says, please remember, these are kids. This is a game. Coaches are volunteers. Umpires are human. This is not the pros. City of Tallahassee. Like, they actually had to fucking post that for parents, you know?
Yes, that's crazy. See, to me, that's great. And I'm competitive. Like, again, I'm an athlete. I understand that, you know, to be an elite athlete.
It's already a competition. You don't have to make it it's already a competition at its fucking core.
When your kid's 7 and he gets struck out and you think that the call was bad, there's no need to like start a fist fight. You know what I mean? It's so fucking crazy how serious people take it. It really is. Like because I'm a former athlete, like I really wanted my kids to be athletes, right? Like I was really hoping my kids would be athletes. And my oldest is she's autistic. She's, you know, she's not really interested in that kind of stuff. Loud noises scare her anyway, so she's not interested in like whistles and yelling and all of that. And then my youngest is, I mean, she's done cheer, she did t-ball for a couple years, but she wants to try basketball, but I'm not gonna, like, I don't force her. I'm not gonna force her to do anything she doesn't want to do or that she's not happy doing. And it's weird that parents push their kids so hard.
Yeah, it really is.
And steal their childhood. Really, when you're like an elite gymnast, you do not have a childhood. You don't go to school. You don't go to school dances. You don't get to go to football games or you know, go walk around the mall with your friends. You don't get to do any of that stuff, and it's really sad. That makes me really sad because kids should be kids. You only get to do that one time. Ugh. I don't know how I got started on that, but now I'm depressed.
It's a valid point.
Now I'm fucking depressed. Damn it. All right. Man. So what? Oh, did I?
So speaking of depressed, no, we're switching over to spoken word for these last two pieces.
Yay.
This is a piece off of the acoustic album Radio Silence. But I just wanted to let this kind of be a spoken word piece today. I thought it would translate well. This is called March of Dimes. March of Dimes. Family fun run cancer bonanza. Front page of Apartheid Times. All of the charm of a car bomb. Arms wide open and taking no targets alive. Dark was the night, save for a red glow painting the sky in a sickening light, like a scene out of hell or a day in an utterly alien life, as the fire runs wild. But these are the years where the wild is more of your daily drive, to wrestle the truth of extinction from out of the jaws of your pride. So open them wide. Now is the time. There's nothing to fight. Placid or sworn to defy, the end is the same and we're inches away from the line. So abandon your ego to die. The bed that we made is where we go to die. But never was passing in one's own sleep such a hideous sight. Such a storm of convulsions and bile expulsions from out of our mouths and our eyes. But these are the rights they implore us to exercise with our signatures forged and our hands all tied. And with eye contact and a senator's smile, they thank you for saving democracy right as they tighten the binds. Right when they're joining your chains to your neighbors and leading you out in a line. Call it the March of Dimes. One more charity parody. Hold back grants while we dance for its president's salary. Funding the bunkers where all of the wealthy will cower to witness our steepest decline. To err is a trait so inherently human, and to hoard enough wealth that you peacefully sleep when those humans are burning alive is so truly divine. If divinity really means withered and fully decaying inside, that you could live with yourself till you run out of wine, ring for a drone off a prime. Skim a little off of the top of the March of Dimes, a sign of our system of capital, head to the sky with a hideous cry that mimics the suffering families out on the street that it built a career out of passing by, who were part of the great design, part of a citizen base with its fate resigned, part of a two-party system where both of the goals align and the end result is more housing crisis than the plot device of 2009. Capitalism demanded a sacrifice. So I walk to the square, I hand them my son, and they hand me the dice. I roll for his life. To a lesser extent, you could say I was rolling for mine. I called any favor, I paid any bribe, but it's all up to me for the roll, so I close my eyes. And the sound of the crowd is the same for a 1 or a 5. It's 2 equal outcomes playing as though they're on opposite sides. And I know in my heart that on 4 out of 6 he'll be fine. But I can't seem to roll them. I can't let them go. I'm just holding them tight. I'm just holding him tight. I can't seem to roll them. I can't let them go. I'm just holding them tight. I'm just holding him tight. That's March of Dimes.
Yeah, that one hits a little bit home because the charity bullshit in this country. So
no,
I'm gonna call out Autism Speaks right now because fuck Autism Speaks. They are a shitty ass organization that pretends to be fighting for acceptance, awareness, equality for autistic individuals, right? No, they don't even have autistic people on their board. They don't you know what I mean? Like they're and they've gotten better because of public pressure, but they used to like refer to autism as like an epidemic, and they would use all these scare terms and like terrify all these families, and they want to push like really terrible therapy measures and all of that stuff. And they're shit. They're absolute garbage. And they don't, none of the money that they raise really goes to like actually helping families who are dealing with autism, with whether it's, respite care or, legit therapies or any of that stuff. It's like every charity in this country, which is kind of what this is about. All their money goes to the president or the whoever. And the people don't actually get helped.
Yeah.
It's gross. And it's like, it's a money laundering scheme. All of these places are.
What's funny is I wanted to use March of Dimes. That was just I started off writing that piece and just March of Dimes came out. And then I wanted to look into March of Dimes to make sure I wasn't using them when they weren't a good example of that. But big surprise, they were. Like, it totally worked out. I could find all kinds of shit. And so I was like, all right, you're good.
I don't know. There aren't very many good charity organizations. You know what I mean? Like big ones. It's very rare to find one that's not shady as fuck.
Exactly.
Did your high schools have an extracurricular program that worked with March of Dimes?
Yes. Like, no, we had like fundraisers.
I remember local high schools doing that. I was homeschooled, but yes.
Yeah, we would do like fundraisers for them. I remember that. Like there was like the coin drive or whatever.
Yep.
Like every Christmas there was like a coin drive. I think it was for them.
Yeah.
Now I think there's a different one that my kids' school does. I forget what it's called, but we used to do all kinds of fundraisers for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jump Rope for Heart for the American Heart Association. We used to do that every year.
I think my high school, it definitely did the fundraisers, but it also had some sort of extracurricular after school group that you could join that was affiliated with March of Dimes. And
I don't remember us having
like legwork for March of Dimes, like used student labor to do.
I don't remember us having one of those, but
I could be wrong on that because that's 20 years ago now.
Right.
Well, I graduated 20 years ago.
Let's look into that because I could always do a remix of that song and throw another verse on. So let's dig into that a little bit.
I'll have to research that. But
fuck all these like seriously, these charity organizations are they're so shady. They're so shady. All you have to do is just like a little bit of digging beneath the surface, and it's abundantly clear that they do not serve the people they claim to be serving. It's all to just make themselves more money. It's a business. Like they've turned it's a business. That's why if you're gonna like do stuff like that, and this is just me personally saying, mutual aid. Find a mutual aid organization that you like locally that you can watch the money go from hand to mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we got to start focusing on. These like big charity organizations, like it's a business venture. That's all it is. It's another business venture, and it sucks. Ugh. So annoying. I hate everything. I hate everything today. I'm just very annoyed today for some reason at everything.
Well, then we're at a good point for this one. This is actually the most recent thing I've written.
I love this one.
And these first few lines I was so proud of. I knew I wasn't going to be able to avoid writing something about the Met Gala. And as soon as I had this title, I was like, oh, I got it. Let's just go for it. This is called Met Gala Airstrike.
It's a great name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the title writes itself. Once you got the title, it's just like let it go. And this was one of those moments. Influencer TikTok, capitalist pig dog, immigration flip flop lobbied via rim job, Met Gala airstrike, A-lister scrimshaw, paparazzi lips sip the scandal as it drips off. You know I'd love to meet our leaders that were tipped off back when COVID was a few of us with wicked coughs, and be like, sorry, Mr. Senator, that you don't speak in terms of human worth, just in kickbacks and dipped stocks. Then punch that motherfucker like a shift clock. Hurry back home to my stack of straw dolls with their limbs off. Where Biden's on the screen and he's confusing Biden's on the screen and he's confusing Xi and Kim Jong. He's talking out his SIM card like someone plugged him in wrong. But then we hit the gist and suddenly his pitch drops. And he whispers right at camera one with his fist balled. His words hang with the subtlety of a lynch mob. He says, rat your neighbor out and get a $5 voucher for the CIA gift shop. Hell, you'll even get a free stick of boot-flavored lip balm. Every day we make enough consent to fill a strip mall. So when I say eat the rich, I'm talking still raw. Bone in, limb by greedy limb with a skill saw. Picture, if you will, a modern take on Naked Prey starring Bill Maher. Picture misery deeper than a reach in Biden's pill jar. You pull a fistful out and down it, honey. Here we are. The future's full of shit and clear enough to know we're better veering off and fleeing far. Somewhere Jeff will never think to look beyond the fading stars. Beyond the homeless camps they came and swept for the parade of stars. Who showed their faces proudly while we covered ours. Met Gala butcher block. We feed the hungry and we tax the filthy rich until they fucking starve. Poke the hornet's nest enough, eventually it comes apart. Eventually I'll run my course and numb my art. I'll snuff the little embers out and clean my car. Wait it out enough and then my sample bank will seem bizarre. Just foreign clips of fuzzy inspirations that I've washed away or smoked beneath a half a dozen years of char. Until I've long forgotten that familiar buzz of pressure in my ears when it's just me alone. With thoughts of drones, Boston dogs, BlackRock homes, and women wearing maiden's garb. The times when privately I wondered if we'll ever shake these chains of ours, when every vote for lesser evil yields another toxic barb. A pox on your democracy, a swelling in your child's heart. Before the time to educate ourselves is gone and suddenly our trial starts. Those among you capable of standing, please rise. Wipe the crocodile tears from your landlord's eyes before the trial starts. All rise and the trial starts. It's Met Gala.
Nice.
Ugh. I'm so tired of these rich fuckers. I really am. Like the fact that they could go to this like fancy, what is it, $30,000 a plate,
Yep.
like gala with like your gazillion-dollar dresses and your stupid shoes, and I mean, and then the only people wearing masks are the servants.
That's
and
the bizarre part, man. That just
it's so. I hate saying dystopian because people use that all the time and it's usually like not used appropriately, but that's very dystopian.
Yep.
I mean, people are starving. The world's collapsing around us. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. And there's this like super rich party where they go and wear like these really expensive gowns. And it's for nothing. Like it's for nothing.
Yep.
And
especially it's so hard not to make like Hunger Games comparisons when the outfits are so ridiculous and lavish and it's just like this absurd costume. Like you can afford to dress as some like gold-plated Valkyrie while people are like getting evicted en masse it's
really gross. That's where we're at. And then we just have people excusing it, justifying it, cheering for it.
Yep.
And you
get people that love it. Yeah, that's everyone's just like, oh, thank God, here's something to take my mind off of how shitty the world is. I can just gawk at these outfits and talk about that. And meanwhile, there's the people that know better, and we're the Francos going, people still owe money, and just getting fucking pushed away.
I mean, it doesn't get any worse. And there was like there was a protest outside where police were violently arresting peaceful protesters, violently, like blood was shed. And AOC's inside with her dress.
Yeah.
Her fucking if that doesn't say everything that you need to know about her, I don't know what else you need.
Yeah.
I want somebody who's outside with the protesters. I want a congressperson who's outside with the people, standing in between them and the cops and saying, you will not treat my people like this. And using her power and influence. And you know what I'm saying? No, she's inside with her dress. And she hasn't even mentioned those protests, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
She hasn't even mentioned them.
Nope.
Oh, I'm so over all of their shit.
And don't worry, she managed to wipe that away and push it under the rug with voting present the other day with the no to present switch. All of a sudden, tax the rich is just like.
No, because now, see, I think that's, they probably thought that a little bit of that was going to happen, but now we're seeing dresses, like people are photoshopping the dress where it says yes to apartheid or nice. Fuck Palestine or whatever. Yep. I mean, but this is, okay, so this is, y'all shouldn't be, Jesse brings this up all the time, but what was the interview? Margaret Flowers? Is that right, Jesse? The interview that she did about?
Margaret Hoover.
That's right. I don't know why I say Flowers. But yeah, she did like this interview. First of all, she has a degree in international relations, okay? And she did this interview where she I'm not an expert on these things, when she was directly asked about Israel Palestine, and she like tries to blow it off like she's dumb as fuck. And I know she's not dumb as fuck. If I know about Israel Palestine, surely Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has a fancy degree in international relations, has some knowledge about what's happening in Israel Palestine, especially given that she used to run on this. This is not like something she's pretended to be dumb about before. She was very forceful about her support for Palestinians when she wanted your vote. But now all of a sudden she's not an expert on this, and she's going to vote present. And she, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And completely inconsequential vote too. It wouldn't have passed. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't have passed anyway. Like this shit. And the fact that she can't even vote, it shows how controlled she is. 100% control. Yeah.
And in theory, with that present vote, she essentially in about a week went from tax the rich to taxing the 99% for Israel's benefit.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it, Jesse, because that's exactly what just happened. $1 billion fucking dollars on top of what we already give those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And fuck Israel. I know I'm going to get shit. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. Fuck the government of Israel. Period. End of story. They are committing a genocide. This is not up for debate anymore. I'm sick of having this conversation. What they are doing is not okay. They just, the same day that she voted president, they murdered a father. They murdered a father. A sniper took out a father, has like an 8-month-old baby at home. For no reason. He's just sitting on some rocks chilling, and they shot him and killed him. And that's like a regular occurrence. Yeah, fuck Israel. I'm done having that conversation. Oh, it gets me really heated. It gets me really fucking heated.
And the Iron Dome is just one of almost half a dozen defense missile batteries that Israel has. It's not the only one. So again, that just speaks to what a token gesture it's been on the part of these so-called progressives. Even people like Rashida Tlaib, I can't take them as fully honest actors if they're not calling for a complete end to all of the handouts, all of the funding that the U.S. provides Israel every single year. If you're not calling for that, then I don't think you really have any business in aligning yourself or saying you're an ally of anti-Zionism, of anti-apartheid Israel, even if you're the first Palestinian American congressperson. It's not enough. And as Ali Abunimah says in this regard, we have to stop taking yes for an answer from these people, because their yes is never enough.
Yeah.
Very true.
I'm really sick of their shit, you guys. I'm honestly, like, I've been really fired up about this since the present vote. Like, it really, it's disgusting. There's no excuse for it. And then she writes this like gazillion page letter or whatever the fuck that was.
I know.
She doesn't even release it on her main account. She releases it on her Congress account. And she hasn't addressed it since then. And she doesn't even make an excuse. She doesn't even explain why she voted present. Again, there was no reason for her to vote present. It didn't matter. Her vote literally did not matter. So crying and be like, oh, I'm so sad. Well, then vote no. What are you doing voting present? That's so gross.
Yeah.
It's just really a complete betrayal. And it's
it's all about her and how it made her feel and her emotions. And again,
and I keep
anyone that wants to criticize that is just being sexist or just being, whatever. Like,
all I could think is, how are the Palestinians doing today? How's the family of the man that they just murdered? I wonder how his family's doing. I wonder how his wife's doing. I think he has a daughter. I'm pretty sure. I wonder how his daughter's feeling today. I know she's only 8 months old, or I think 8 months old. but I wonder how she's going to do today and for the rest of the days of her life, which will probably be very short-lived given the experience that she's living in. You know? Oh, I'm just so sick of the hypocrisy. And then I'm sick of people excusing it and justifying it. There's no excuse for that. We need to hold these people to a way higher standard. Maybe like Palestine doesn't matter to these stands. I don't think it does, honestly.
It doesn't seem like it does to a lot of
I think it's a hashtag for them.
Yep.
You know, it's like, it's very performative. What is
when it's safe? Yeah.
Yes.
That's, and I actually touch on that a little in this next piece. It started with a couple lines that I was inspired to write after watching Jen Perlman make such an ass out of herself when she had Jay and Afeni on. Like, that was just, and again, she's always gotten on my nerves. First of all, she's super close with Vosh, which, if that isn't enough of a reason to think someone's disgusting, I don't know what is. But it's just such a great example of someone who's all too happy to wave this, like, I'm totally on your side. I support this and this and this and this, and here's a list of all the things. But that's it. It's in as much as they want you to know that they support it when it's safe and when it's just something they have to say and not something they're expected to do. And those are two very different politicians that you get. And without saying Jen or Nina, I feel like a lot of this is applicable to Jen and Nina. And by the way, everyone, my DMs are open for apologies regarding Nina Turner for that big fat fucking I told you so. I got it waiting for so many people, and
you're never gonna get those apologies.
Oh no, any day now they're pouring. I'm sure
that's
of it.
Not fair. Actually, wait, that's not fair. I have actually over several years, many people have come to me and been like, "Hey, I blocked you a while ago because you were really
someone that said that recently that was like, you know what, I gave you a hard time, and it turns out you were right." And I was like, "Good for you, man. Good for you."
I do get that.
It takes a lot to be able to say that.
It does. Yeah. And a lot of times it's in DMs, and that's okay. Like, I'm not going to call you out on name. I'm not going to throw it in your face. I'm not going to, I mean, I wish I was wrong. So I have no, like, I'm not here to like shit on you for, you know, it sucks that you like were really mean to me and, but it's okay. Like, I'm okay.
My favorite
with
thing
forward.
leading up to the Columbus March was people saying that you and I were both getting Hillary Clinton money to try to smear Nina in her home state right before her election. That we were Clinton operatives, and I couldn't get over that. It was too good. Like,
the fact that anybody would call me a Hillary Clinton operative is hilarious to me, because I've never ever liked her. And so this is not like something where, like, even like Nina, I used to like Nina, so I would say good things about her. So you could like, I've said nice things about Tulsi, I've said nice things about Bernie. I've never said anything nice about Hillary Clinton in my life. In my life.
All right, so this next piece, like March of Dimes, this is a track on one of the new albums, not spoken word, but I wanted to do it as spoken word today. This is off of War Crime Jams to Pork 2. This is called Effigies. Crammed in tight like refugees, sprouting on my spite into effigies of Joe and the rest of these feckless molesters, trimming up hedge funds out of what's left of our destinies, and dole out a loan from our own tax refunds. He's dumb enough to believe he impressed me. But if child poverty was a test, you got 50%. That is not a success to me. But you'll victory lap with an ice cream truck, which is really just the peak of this pedo Joe shit show of irony, to fly the flag high enough to call the fleet and bring them to the center of the spectacle, right into the eye of the Odyssey, and witness those who rape the earth consistently protected under policy that we will never have the chance to read before we fall asleep. I can hear the bullfrogs calling me, telling me our purpose should be stringing up the heads of every oligarch for all to see, mount them on the tallest trees, point at all the CEOs like we defunded all of these. This is me in purest form, speaking to you honestly, speaking through the tears. May they force you to acknowledge me. When they seat you at the table, you get options. One is playing ball. The other is an all-expenses trip where the piranhas feed. This is me in purest form, exuding something similar to sauna steam. Forge my fury right into the sonic stream. I have zero fucking truck for incremental measures or political idolatry. All these people vying for your 27 grassroots units worth of dollar weed. All too proud to wear your issue prominently on their sleeve, but only long enough to rock a photo op. And then they drop it from their speeches because you gave them all the optics they could ever need. When they tell you that you need to wait and you don't understand the game, What they really mean to say is they can't wrap their greedy little fucking brains around a fight for what you know you'll probably never see. But what would you expect from people warped by a life spent hunched sucking money out the debt machine? What would you expect from someone constantly reminding you that they are not your enemy? White-collar criminals who know the only punishment they're ever gonna face is a handshake, a steak, and a tall glass of clemency. Ask you what a check for what they make in half a day would mean to you and yours, then drink your tragic story down like Hennessy. Sometimes you gotta break 500,000 people all to make a human omelet to feed to an economy that needs a little energy. Stepping out their limousine and over 500,000 corpses just to hang the banner like America is back and we've been editing our history. We sterilized it whiter than a bleach-backed double shot of Listerine. Bloody little handprints rinse out in the simple green. Look at how the shining little city on a hill is newly primed for the kill and is hideously glistening. Thirsting for the gristle of the working class, all the muscle, all the fat, all the single parents we peel off the mat. All their kids prepped for an early death and primed for imprisoning. Up to date on active shooter protocols and well aware that no one's really listening. And Biden's here to dunk your little deer into an oil drum and consummate the christening. You'll contemplate the weight of how we're just too late to save after Kamala has risen and the bell outside the mission rings. She'll know your location and be tracking your positioning, all because a tweet that showed you don't accept conditioning. And now you're at a bunker that they swear you're only visiting. Once you've been re-educated, you can be released and have a pretty blue check to commemorate the trauma we inflicted in the name of socialism's re-envisioning. Kamala has risen, and the bell outside the mission rings. The cognitive dissonance will set your hopes to blistering. God, she's walking through the West Wing whistling. America is back and hailing Kissinger, a living king. But America is failing every living thing. America is failing every living thing. That's effigies.
Sweet. Well, not sweet, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was heavy too. I'm trying to find all those people vying for your 27 grassroots units worth $1 weed, all too proud to wear your issue prominently on their sleeve, but only long enough to rock a photo op. Then they drop it from their speeches because you gave them all the optics they could ever need. Yeah, that's about it.
So Nina Turner's with the Young Turks now? Is that right?
Did you see?
No.
Did you?
I haven't eaten for days. I'm still so full from that. I can't eat it. It's so good.
The stupid superhero thing, the power hour. And then I watched it. So it's members only. They have it behind a paywall because I think the Young Turks is struggling.
Oh, yeah.
That's my opinion. I don't know. I don't know their financials,
Yep.
but I'm pretty sure that they're struggling.
Yeah,
so
it's like we need people that aren't going to just tear this apart.
Yeah. So they blocked literally everybody on
Yep.
Twitter. They blocked like right before her show, like they released that stupid superhero thing. They blocked literally everybody. Not literally, but almost everybody on leftist
Pretty much.
Twitter.
I finally got my block. I thought I was special. I thought it was because of fractions, but they were just blocking en masse. But I'll take it. You know what? I wanted that so bad.
Yes. They immediately started blocking, and then they released that stupid ass promo thing. And then I saw like a clip of it where she's talking about how I think they call it the hero of the week, and she gave it to Cori Bush, and I'm like, this is
Corey Bush
such
and
a joke.
Elizabeth Warren.
Oh yeah, yes.
She was like Corey Bush and Elizabeth Warren, and that's what I like. I was like coughed for a minute. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah,
you're not
like
going to
Jesse
say that
said,
till like episode 2 to drop Elizabeth Warren's name.
Like Jesse said, I am totally willing to accept your apologies. Totally willing to accept your apologies, because I got shit on for years for calling Nina Turner out. For years. Same with AOC. Like now people are starting to come around with AOC. For years I've been getting shit on. And listen, again, I am happy to accept your apology and move on. I don't want to rub your face in it. I don't. I really don't. I wish I was.
But I will.
I mean, I might a little bit.
Oh, I will.
It depends on who you are. Depends on how awful you were to me.
And it's really not that hard to see what's coming with these people when they're running for office. Just go to their campaign pages and look at the language they use. Look at the policies they put forward.
The vagaries.
Look at the images they use. That's the narrative they're constructing. And if you scratch even just a bit below the surface, you can see them for the the fallacies or the false figures they are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, just look at their history. Like Nina Turner, she used to be on the board of Correct the Record. And I'm supposed to trust her? I mean, come on, you should have never trusted her ever. And I used to like Nina Turner. Like, she's a great speaker. She's very motivational. Like, I would like her to make me some workout videos, and you know what I mean? Like not workout videos, but you know what I mean? Workout, like motivational speeches, like get my ass moving. She's a great speaker. Like she's married to a cop. Her son's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
She has a consulting firm that is funded in large part by a John Kasich super donor, like a mega donor. Like, and then she had him on her podcast.
Yeah, that was a huge red flag. That was the first time I was like, hey, everybody, is this not setting off any alarms for you?
But I'm the asshole for asking questions about that. Like, don't you think we should be asking questions about that?
Getting some big snugs and purrs right now, folks.
Hi, kitty.
This is Chief Brody.
Hi, Chief Brody.
Hey, Martin.
Hi. Oh, pretty big. Like, reminds me of Daryl. Daryl does that with my microphone all the time. So like my microphone was covered in cat hair the other day.
My wife loves sharks and specifically loves Jaws. And when she was pregnant, we got a copy of the novel of Jaws by Peter Benchley, and I used to read it to her at night. Aww. And she would always fall asleep right at the beginning of, like, we made it to chapter 2, and I would get a paragraph or so in, and she would pass out for weeks, to the point that I still, chapter 2 starts, Harry Meadows was an immense man, the kind of man for whom the act of breathing was enough to inspire little drops of perspiration to beat on his forehead. Like, I can do the first couple pages of that by heart still. And she'd wake up and she'd be like, did we not make it past that? And I'm like, no, baby, you passed you passed out pretty quick.
Yo, being pregnant's exhausting though, to be real.
So when we got him, we were thinking of names and thinking of something from Jaws. And at first we thought Jaws, but he's too much of a snuggler. And Chief Brody was just fantastic for him. So
yeah,
that's a good one.
That is a good name for a cat.
Yep.
I like it. I have so many.
Lately, his thing is just like right around on my shoulder, like pirate style. That's pretty great.
That's what Jack does. My little Jack does that right now.
So adorable.
It's kind of ridiculous though, because she attacks my hair. So like she'll be on my shoulder, and then she, like, with her little tiny, because she's tiny, these little tiny kitty claws, she'll like try to climb up my head, and then she'll like attack my hair, and then she eats it, and I'm like, okay, really? But then she usually ends up passing out around my neck, like, you know what I mean, like what are those called, a neck pillow, like a travel pillow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A cat scarf.
Funny. Yeah, a cat scarf, but she's not big enough for it to be a cat scarf. She's very tiny. I think she only weighed like 13 grams or something. I don't remember.
Oh, really? Oh my god.
Yeah, she's only like 4 weeks old. She fits in the palm of my hand. She's itsy bitsy. So
just a cotton ball.
Yeah, essentially. And she looks like one too.
You guys to take her in and care for her like you are. It's just,
well, dude, okay. So what would you do? Like, I walk outside, and I hadn't seen them for a while. Like, they're like 4 weeks old. We saw them when they were pretty new. And like, I was going out every day and checking on them, making sure that everybody was fine. Like, the orange one that we lost was part of that whole group too. So I had been taking care of them, but then mom moved them. And so for like, I don't know, like 10, 12 days, I didn't see them. And so I went outside, and finally I was like, oh, there's one of them. And I'm like, cool, they were underneath my deck. So I like go over there, and then here comes Jack with this huge ass thing growing out of her eye. And I'm like, so I like snatched her. I was freaking out. I snatched her up. I ran inside. My mom's living with me. I ran inside. I'm like, Mom, I have to go. I have to take this cat to the hospital. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Because I hate when animals are hurting. So I get like very panicky. And I don't know anything about animals really. So it's like, I get nervous. So yeah. And I was like, so we called like around to different animal hospitals. Nobody was taking walk-ins because they were busy, and like staffing issues, COVID's got everything so fucked up. So finally I had to drive 45 minutes to Dublin to go to the one, Ohio State's, emergency animal hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but then she has surgery on Thursday, but I couldn't just leave her like that. There was no way I couldn't have done it. So
one of the good ones.
Yeah,
I'm just worried.
At my parents' house, I once in the backyard found newborn baby birds that had somehow fallen or hadn't fallen out of their nest. I think they were somehow picked up and dropped by maybe a predator, maybe even their mother. So they were essentially like naked without any plumage, just these tiny things.
Oh,
Some of them, there were about 6 of them. Some of them were dead, but there were 2 or 3 that were still gasping for air. And the first thing I did was call the animal control or whatever you want to call it, and they actually sent a woman out who was very nice and actually very concerned, and she took all of them and said she was going to try to resuscitate or keep alive the ones that were still alive, but she said they probably wouldn't make it. But yeah, it was that same feeling, like I dropped whatever I was doing at the time, and I was like, I have to do something. I can't just like sit in the kitchen knowing that these little things are.
Well, the little orange guy I had to rescue from under my porch, he was stuck in a hole under my porch, and I heard him meowing, and I'm like, at first I didn't know what it was, and I'm like, okay, so I'm like looking around, and then I realized it's under my porch, and underneath my porch is scary shit, y'all. There's spiders, it's dirty, it's gross, but I'm like, I have to go, so I like didn't even think about it. I just like scooted under the porch and scooped him up, and yeah, but that one didn't make it though, unfortunately. But Sophie tweeted. Can you tell I live on Twitter? Sophie commented, facts on the ground, but it's just Misty and Jesse talking about cats for an hour. Girl, I could do that.
That's Sophie that made the cover for War Crime Jams to Pork too. If anyone's
Sophie,
curious, yeah,
that's amazing.
She's the best.
Yay, Sophie! Yeah, I could totally do a show just talking about cats. Right? I have enough. You could meet them all. We could do like a little introduction to each of them. They all have their own personalities.
Cats on the ground.
We gotta do it now.
I need a thing.
I was gonna say facts on the meow, but that's so much better. Yeah. That beats it. Like, oh my god, that's gold. I like them Jesse.
Both. Where's Steven Lucky? Steve could make me a graphic for that. Cats on the ground. I like it. Oh god, that's some funny shit. I could do that though. I really could, y'all.
I'll have to get Fidel Castro to be a little less camera shy. I think he's up in the ceiling right now. He likes to crawl up into the rafters, and he is in the drop panels of the ceiling above me as we speak in the basement.
That's funny.
He actually broke one the other day. He straight up fell through, broke one of the drop panels and half and fell through.
Well, if I have any of the other
he landed on a bed. He was okay.
If I have any of the other cats here, Daryl will be up here the whole time. I think he gets jealous. So he's not here now, but if there was another cat here, Daryl would be here. He's such a turd. Christ. I could do a whole cat show though. I should. Right. That would be fun.
Man, again thank you guys so much for having me. It's been too long.
Yes. We love having you.
If Ugly Fucking Christmas wasn't enough of an indicator, I needed to get some of this out. So that was much needed. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But, my brother just sent me who did the cover art for the virus and inauguration gift. He's almost done with cover art for the coming of spring, which it's actually worked out now that it's going to be pushed out a little bit because it will be closer to spring happening.
Right. Which makes sense.
That's recorded and ready to go. So once I get
I'm so excited.
I'll be putting that out. And then I also have a few other things I'm working on right now. I'm putting out a compilation of a lot of songs, some of which I'd released only on Twitter once. A couple of which were on Bandcamp and I took down, just kind of odds and ends of things I've recorded in the last year. That'll be coming out shortly. And then I'm doing 2 more installments of the Geiger Age, which was the like 50s doo-wop thing I did. So I'll be working on those, finishing up the EP with Awkward shortly. We are also doing a remix of the Medicare for All song Why We March with Shahid and Tony Tigg, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's a good little group of rabble-rousers.
Yeah, right?
Rabble-rousers. Jesus. Yeah, but everybody can find your stuff on Bandcamp, obviously. I'll put the links to all that stuff. It might, I don't know, Sleepy probably already put it in the YouTube one. I don't know if it's Rockfin gave us some shit today, so I don't know if it's in there or not, but we'll put all the links to that stuff. But I tweeted it out too. Definitely go to Bandcamp. Bandcamp's the best one.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Bandcamp's
for anyone that, you know, if you want to download it and support me, that's the place to do it. Also, if you want to be able to download the songs, but money's an issue, please message me. I get free download codes that I can give to people, and all you got to do is give me a buzz and you get one. So just let me know.
Yay, which I love that you do that, because, you know, there are some people who would really like to have it, but just don't have the money right now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for me, it's about getting it heard, you know, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so is there anything else that you want to plug, or did we cover all of that stuff? Just Bandcamp, really, right? I mean,
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll put links to all that stuff. Before we close out, I do just want to tell everybody that, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but Daniel Hale's support team released a fundraiser for him. It was, the last time I checked, it was at like 3,600, I think. I think that they set the goal for 50,000. This is essentially just going to be for helping with legal fees. You know, once he gets out, finding housing and just getting on his feet. So we crushed Chelsea's fundraiser when she was trying to raise money for her the court fines that they had ridiculously imposed upon her. So I would love to see that same kind of support for Daniel. I know everybody's in a tight spot, but even just sharing the link is very helpful. And really, if you have a couple bucks that you can throw to Daniel Hale, please do so. You know, we have to back our truth tellers. We need them more than ever. So I don't mean to get preachy, but I can drop the link for that in the description and all that stuff too. I don't know. Do you have anything else, Jesse? I don't think I have anything else that's really like pressing issue.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Yeah. I have Bitch this week. If you guys want to check that out on Wednesday. Krish Mohan's going to be on, who I love so much, and it's going to be fun. And he said that he might even be mean.
Oh, all right.
Which, if you know Krish, tune in, because I'll believe it when I see it. He's like the nicest guy on planet Earth. He said, then he tweeted me back and was like, but then I'll probably apologize for it. So, but that's at 7 on Wednesday, if anybody wants to check that out. And then the week after that, I have pasta. So that'll be fun too. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Jesse, thank you for coming on. Seriously, I'm not kidding when I said I was going through withdrawal.
Right.
I was going through withdrawal.
Same.
Yeah, but you have a ton of new stuff coming out. Soon. So we'll have more. We'll definitely have more for you guys. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We love you so much.
You.
And yeah, we'll see you next time, guys. Later, taters.